hombres in this cat and mouse game where they try to invade as we try to catch them.
They're trying to make money, so they're still going to try.
The illegals run and the rocks fly as the frustration of the cartels begins to build.
Oh, there you go. That's what the cartel thinks of you, America.
Then one by one, the Border Patrol does what they were commissioned to do, fighting for the front lines on this battle to save America. This is what it looks like when you have a president and an administration that puts America first and the cartels last.
That's how we take our country back. Baby, enough is enough. There it is.
Bergquam with his camera.
Truth coming through. Heads up.
Welcome to Law and Border, where we go to the front line to expose the truth about the real attack on America.
This is an invasion. This is an invasion.
You're watching Law and Border with Bergquam. It's 5 a.m. in Sunland Park, New Mexico, where we link up with our friends from the Border Patrol.
What's up, guys?
And while most of the city is still asleep, our heroes in green remain ever vigilant at the front door of America.
You guys?
Yeah, no, we're all good.
Okay, cool.
The cartels have a long dossier on us.
Yeah.
This is Border Patrol Public Affairs Officer Landon Hutchin.
Can you talk to us real quick about the numbers from a couple thousand, 2,500 a day to where we're at now?
Yeah, we've seen a significant decline, especially over the past few weeks, almost month now. And as consequences have been applied under Title VIII, we've seen that discourage illegal crossings. Also, I guess one of the key points is our gotaways are way, way down. Some days zero. And I think that has a lot to do to the increased enforcement posture, the DOD partners we have with the Army troops on the border that help us cover a very major trafficking area here, Mount Cristo Ray particularly, much more effectively as the manpower, the bodies allow us to cover all the canyons and draws that are normally used as infiltration sites. They're still running drugs, just the same criminal organizations that traffic in narcotics now traffic in humans. And also it's a thin line sometimes between human smuggling and human trafficking, because in order to pay the exorbitant fees they charge for human smuggling, oftentimes people are put in debt, labor, bondage, and sexual slavery.
This is Border Patrol Agent Orlando Marrero Rubio.
Yes, sir. Are they still cutting the fences out there?
They are.
They're
still cutting the fences.
Just before dawn in this area around first light is when we see a lot of traffic.
And even still, but in comparison, still.
Traffic is way down compared to 2 years ago. We had 2 years ago in FY 2023, we had more than 427,000 people illegally cross the border in the El Paso sector.
As we begin our patrol, we get word that an illegal has been spotted, trying to cross over Mount Cristo Rey. So we move in to intercept him.
They can observe and report to the agents, and because we have more eyes up here, it's a lot easier for us to work traffic because we're able to see them coming down in advance and then move our agents to make arrest and intercept illegal traffic.
Definitely feels like you can get a bigger response now than a couple years ago. It felt like everything was spread so thin.
But we're still getting a lot of traffic coming in illegally. So say if we're getting 2,400 migrants, we might get 1,000, 1,100 downtown who were, particularly the Venezuelans, Cubans, Nicaraguans, surrendering themselves in downtown El Paso, seeking asylum. The smuggler would take advantage of that to move people over in this area, Sunland Park, New Mexico, Santa Teresa Station area of operation, where they were moving people illegally who were crossing the border, trying to evade apprehension, not really seeking asylum.
So that made their job easier in moving them over here because you guys were working there.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk to the illegal alien that was apprehended?
Yeah, please.
Okay, let's see if he's willing to speak. He's willing to speak. but no face.
Okay.
From here down. Is that okay?
¿De dónde son?
Guatemala.
Guatemala. Where, ¿a dónde vas en Estados Unidos? Where was he trying to head?
¿Sabía ya dónde iba en Estados Unidos?
Voy a Indiana.
A Indiana. Okay.
¿Tu familia?
Sí, tengo un hermano allá. Tengo un hermano en Chicago y tengo un hermano en...
He said that the reason he's coming here is family matters. He's looking for his brother that is in Chicago and his mother that is in Chino, California. That was the main reason. And he also has family members in Indiana that he was trying to get in contact with. It's in Indiana.
How many, is this his first time crossing?
Ahora tengo 61.
O sea, hace 41 años.
Sí.
So he says that the first time he crossed illegally, he was 20 years old. Now he's 61, so that was 41 years ago.
Did he get deported or did he?
En ese momento cuando entró, cuando tenía 20 años, the first time he crossed illegally into the U.S., but he voluntarily returned to his country of Guatemala.
Okay.
Yo me fui manejando un carro para allá.
He even bought a vehicle and drove it back to Guatemala, he claims, back then.
Did he, so crossing now, did he have a guide? Who did he pay to come across?
I'm not saying he's not telling the truth, he's not being truthful.
But that's what he said.
But based on our experience, everybody pays at least a minimum fee, but he's claiming that he didn't pay anything.
Yeah, so just to explain that, so the cartel controls the other side?
Yeah, we know all this area is controlled by transnational criminal organizations and cartels. So we know at least the minimum fee they will pay to get them across.
And if they don't pay?
Unfortunately, cartels, they're ruthless. They don't care about the safety of the people. They only care about financial gain. So more than likely they'll be punished, beaten, even tortured, or maybe killed.
We were just checking his phone, and he's part of a group chat of 11 migrants that are in contact, and so it's very clear that he was in contact with the cartels. He's probably a decoy, and his story, but there, a lot of times they're afraid to talk about what they paid to the cartels because they've been threatened by the cartels.
So he was part of 11, so there's potentially 10 more that were coming?
Yeah, that they're gonna, they're testing the waters and they're testing our security right now, and so they sent him as a decoy or as a test case. You can pay a lot of money. You just never know when you're going to be used as a decoy. They will cross you over, but the cartels never promise success. And so people spend thousands of dollars to be illegally crossed over, or they go into debt bondage only to find themselves returned to their country of origin a lot poorer, a lot worse off than they were in the first place.
This guy appears to be one of those casualties, potentially.
Yeah. Gracias. Like I tell everybody, we have a job to do. We treat every illegal alien with the same respect we like to be treated. We understand they're human beings, but there's laws in place that we need to follow, and there's policies in place that we need to follow. So I wish them the best and to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's tough. He's an old guy.
It is.
Coming up, as the sun begins to rise, we get up close and personal with the illegals.
So those guys are staging up there.
They're staging up there.
And their cartel coyote guides as this game of cat and mouse continues.
And we have the other one over the hill right there I'm watching.
The illegals line up on the Mexico side. Group after group tries to make a run for it. We're there with the Border Patrol to catch them up.
There it is.
To keep up to date with Ben as he travels to expose the truth about the Democrat destruction of America, follow him on social media at Ben Bergquam and check out his website, frontlineamerica.com. This episode of Law and Border is brought to you by PatriotMobile.com. Use promo code RAV for free activation today, only at PatriotMobile.com. Welcome back to Law and Border. Ben and the team are in Sunland Park, New Mexico, with our friends from the Border Patrol to discuss the difference between the border under the Biden regime in comparison to how it is now under President Trump.
Just before dawn in this area around first light is when we see a lot of traffic.
And even still, but in comparison, still.
Traffic is way down compared to 2 years ago. We had 2 years ago in FY 2023, we had more than 427,000 people illegally cross the border in the El Paso sector. When it gets to be a little bit more light, we'll point out the neighborhood on the other side of the mountain. It's called Rancho Anapra, and it's a major cartel smuggling area on the western end of Juarez. And this area is controlled by a cartel known as La Empresa. We have a lot of backpack narcotic smuggling, where they come up from the border near Ojinaga and come up through the Van Horn corridor through the mountains there. An extremely rugged terrain, very remote, and that's where we see a lot of our backpack drug smuggling. There's areas where we have no roads going to the border. It's just very, very wild, very, very remote, a few ranches, and so our horse patrol is really critical to maintaining security in these areas.
And what type of drugs are you getting? Is it marijuana, cocaine, fentanyl? What are you typically seeing?
We get less marijuana than we used to, but we get methamphetamine, cocaine, sometimes heroin, black tar heroin, and of course fentanyl comes in. In the OFO, Office of Field Operations side at the ports of entry, we often have body carriers who have our canines will connect people who actually have narcotics in their body cavities, trying to walk across and smuggle in, particularly fentanyl and other very dangerous drugs that way.
So can you talk about the trafficking that's going on with the stash houses, the interior multi-layer enforcement strategy?
Yeah, we do have a collaboration with other agencies like ICE, HSI, CBP. But so far in the sector, we have encountered 60 stash houses, and we've made 546 arrests on stash houses for fiscal year 25. We do encounter here at the sector stash houses that are in inhumane conditions. A house that it's built for a single family of 4 or 5. And we found groups of 25, 30, 40, 50 people inside those.
We have a multi-layered enforcement strategy here on the border in El Paso sector. We have frontline units guarding the border, making apprehensions within a short distance of the border. We have our anti-smuggling units, which are plainclothes agents operating in unmarked vehicles, and they'll be apprehending smuggling load drivers, people driving to pick up the migrants, and we'll also have them going in and taking down stash houses. Do we find people that are in sex trafficking and forced labor bondage? The answer is yes. In fact, we had a Socorro PD cooperation takedown of a stash house where all the young women in that stash house were being sex trafficked. We also recently had an operation with our El Paso PD law enforcement partners from their gang unit that took down the Gateway Hotel. That hotel was being used by Tren de Aragua as a major sex trafficking site.
They're gang members that Joe Biden let in and used your tax dollars to put up in that hotel.
When we talk about sanctuary policies, sanctuary cities, protecting illegal aliens, when you consider all of those factors as well, the cartel taking advantage of that, how much more difficult is your job made because of those sanctuary policies, and how much easier is it for them to do that type of activity?
Well, the transnational criminal organizations in our area, the Mexican cartels, they will take advantage of any gap of enforcement policy that exists anywhere in the United States. They treat these illegal aliens like a commodity. They don't care about their safety, their welfare, their family's welfare. All they care about is the ways and the money they can gain from exploiting them.
After catching our first illegal of the morning, we head to the backside of Mount Cristo Rey. This is an area that was once only accessible by foot or horseback and almost completely controlled by the cartels.
And the reason we did also build this road is to make it easier and safer for our agents to patrol. It was so rugged and so difficult to navigate that only our specialty units like horse patrol, ATVs, were able to patrol this area, not in a safe way that we wanted to do it.
But now this area is being taken back over by the U.S. Border Patrol and the U.S. military, thanks to President Trump.
Beginning of the February, basically they started installing this temporary barrier. So far, it's about a quarter of a mile is what we have built so far or installed.
As Ben and the team move further up the hill, we see firsthand why it is so critical to the security of our nation to have our Border Patrol and our military stationed at these points.
So just to clarify, so when we're looking at the shacks here, all these little spots,
Yeah.
you're talking, those are all cartel shacks.
Yes.
And the cartel again that controls the NAPRA?
La Empresa.
La Empresa.
Instead of having just a few agents up here, the extra platoon of soldiers here allows us to station them along the way so that they have coverage and eyes on every draw and canyon, which has really curtailed the cartel's ability to effectively move people and contraband across this mountain.
There is no wall. The only thing that separates Mexico and the cartel invaders from the United States is this road and the men and women that stand in the
But
gap.
as you can see, you can't throw a rock without seeing either agents or soldiers. Yeah, we have not had this much coverage up here.
You see the obelisk,
Yes,
Monument 2? Scan
Oh, up
about,
top?
yeah, up
Yep,
top.
that's bodies?
Yes. But that's the Mexican side. They still have not made illegal entry into the U.S., and our technology has already detected them.
So those guys are staging up there.
They're staging up there.
And this is also why it's so critical that we finish the wall that President Trump started and that Joe Biden ended. Don't go anywhere, because when we get back, the action really heats up as the cartel smugglers begin a dangerous game of Red Rover, sending groups of illegals over.
So they're looking for gaps in coverage to try to infiltrate in and move illegal aliens across the border into the U.S.
And sending our teams into action. And you don't want to miss it. And as we chase group after group and catch multiple illegals, it becomes incredibly apparent what a disaster Joe Biden has created down here.
Bleeding didn't stop for 4 years. Now it's plugged.
And all we can say is thank God America elected President Donald J. Trump to fix this nightmare at the border.
Yeah, it's part of the game of cat and mouse.
Welcome back to Law and Border. Ben and the Law and Border team are on the backside of Mount Cristo Rey in Sunland Park, New Mexico. This area is a known smuggling route for the cartels and lies sandwiched between El Paso, Texas and Juarez, Mexico.
To see it and look at our resources to try and guide a group into the country. Those are our brothers from AMO, the Air and Marine Operations from CBP.
Put it in perspective for people. You know, this is cartel operations. We're 100 yards away from cartel.
Yeah, we're about 5 meters away from the border right now, and so they use this terrain, which is pretty rugged, as you can see. It looks more monolithic when you're at the base of the mountain, but when you get on top, you see all these canyons and draws and areas where they can go into defilade to try to infiltrate into the United States. And that's why this presence of the extra troops up here really helps us with border security, because we can have constant observation of these canyons and draws, and we're also backed up by our aviation units from our Customs and Border Protection Air and Marine Operations. There was a repatriation across the Paso del Norte Bridge of a group of people going back to Mexico. And there were some journalists on the south side of the bridge on the Mexican side. And one of the guys was going, "Don't cross right now, don't cross. I don't recommend anybody cross. There's just too much migra. There was too many Border Patrol agents, too much presence up here." And so that has discouraged illegal crossings. And that's one reason why we see the numbers down.
Yeah. How much is controlled by the Mexican government? How much is actually controlled by the cartel on the Mexico side?
The entire southern border is controlled by different plaza bosses who operate for the cartels, and they control different neighborhoods. But in the last couple of weeks, we have seen mirror patrols with our Chihuahua State Police counterparts, and we actually have a very friendly relationship with them right now. The current governor of Chihuahua and the Attorney General there have been cooperating in a lot of campaigns, including our Se Busca Información campaign, where we target top 10 criminal individuals on both sides of the border, and we go after them. And in this latest campaign, we've taken 6 off the board. What we saw was a cartel spotter and 2 individuals on the side, and other cartel individuals up on that hilltop over there. So they are scanning. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for gaps in coverage to try to infiltrate in and move illegal aliens across the border into the U.S.
How critical to that point is labeling these organizations terrorist organizations and using more military-style tactics on the cartels? Well,
I think the extra DoD support that we have is really making a difference on the border. And I'm a Marine Corps veteran who worked Latin America, was an operations officer at Marine Corps Forces South. And the way these criminal organizations operate and how hyper-violent they are, I think the terrorist designation is appropriate.
So are you still seeing these? I guess it's always kind of cat and mouse, distraction, pull resources over. You get a group like that, they'll pull you guys over here to be able to move something else somewhere else.
Yeah, they try it, but I think the thing that's frustrating them is now we have additional resources.
Right. Right. So where it used to be, that would happen. You'd pull resources, then you'd be open in an area. One of the frustrating things to me is now you have all these people protesting across America against ICE and against Border Patrol and the work you guys do, and how not realizing how much of that work is humanitarian work, where you're actually protecting and saving lives.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's not understood about our agents in the field is that, for instance, my colleague Orlando, he's an emergency medical technician, and he takes that extra additional duties, and he's a nationally certified EMT. We have 150 EMTs and paramedics in our sector, and they don't receive any extra pay. They take that willingly just because they want to preserve human life. And your average agent here carries extra water, extra food, and is sometimes feeding a migrant who hadn't eaten in 2 days. And the way we treat the illegal aliens, even though they're violating our laws and so forth, they're treated very humanely with a lot of compassion, as opposed to the cartels where they put them in unair-conditioned stash houses, do not give them sufficient food or water, and so when they cross over the border, particularly in the summertime, we end up seeing illegal aliens in distress. We had almost 1,000 humanitarian rescues by our Border Patrol agents here in El Paso sector, and unfortunately we also had 176 deaths, and the majority due to heat and dehydration when they've been abandoned by their coyotes in the middle of the desert. Cartel smugglers constantly place these migrants' lives in danger, and they don't care about their safety or well-being. They will abandon them to die in a heartbeat. We got reports this last week that smugglers are charging as much as $30,000 to smuggle people illegally across the border.
How big of a difference have you seen since January 20th? Not to steal the words from David, but
well, the additional resources on the border have been very helpful in our border security mission, and we're particularly grateful to our Department of Defense partners right here. We have U.S. Army active duty troops from Fort Bliss helping us out with our border security mission. And as you can see with this terrain, the extra presence, the extra eyes on the border really helps our agents make arrests and control this zone so that we have better operational control of the border.
And just as we're talking, Ben catches a glimpse of an illegal who has crossed into the United States and is making a dash for it back into Mexico.
likely a cartel lookout spotter. He came up the road on U.S. soil. We're just coming up here to see where he ran off. He's right here, right here, right here. So he's in the U.S. right now. He knows it, that's why he's running away. And he just hunkered down. He's back behind that little shelf over there. I don't want to get too far out of line of sight from those guys. They'll get a little spooked.
He was the one filming earlier.
Oh, yep. So he's moving right up.
Yeah, he's looking for an opportunity. He's just a few yards inside the Mexican border. ACR helicopter's right there.
You think he's a runner and the other guy's the coyote or the lookout? You think either of those guys, or are they just both lookouts?
It's hard to tell. Usually the ones talking on the cell phones are usually the coyotes and the lookouts.
Yeah, so definitely this guy.
Yeah, they may have been trying to scout to find a gap in coverage and try to get him.
So they may have another group over here too?
Yeah. So they'll have different groups in defilade. And the intelligence we got off the phone earlier, apparently the guy that we apprehended from Guatemala, who was the first to come over, was part of a group of 11. And so this may be part of that group that they're trying to cross over illegally.
And basically what I'm seeing here is they're spreading you out as much as they can to see if there's an opening for part of the group to go.
Yeah, it's part of the game of cat and mouse.
And here's a quick message from them to all the illegals who are thinking about crossing over our border. You can run, you can hide, but eventually we are going to catch
the other one.
One at a time. There it is.
And later in the show, a special musical tribute by patriotic entertainer Dave Bray, USA. As we take a solemn moment to honor the service and sacrifice of our fallen agents of the Border Patrol. To keep up to date with Ben as he travels to expose the truth about the Democrat destruction of America, follow him on social media at Ben Bergquam and check out his website, frontlineamerica.com. Stick around for more law. This episode of Law and Border is brought to you by PatriotMobile.com. Use promo code RAV for free activation today, only at PatriotMobile.com. Welcome back to Law and Border. As the helicopter continues to circle, we get word that a group of illegals is being chased back towards us by a Border Patrol unit stationed on the mountain. The Law and Border cameras are rolling as the group is seen in the distance. And the chase is on.
So we got 4 here. We got 1 here. Looks like we're gonna apprehend 1. We got the lookouts here. These guys are back in Mexico. This guy is not. Yes, sir.
And that's 1 more illegal down. We find out later that he's from Vietnam, making his way to Knoxville, Tennessee to work illegally at a nail salon.
Hey. Vamos. Don't make it any harder, okay?
We got 1 here. We got 4 more over here. With the Cartel Coyote and the brown. Second one from the left.
As for the unit in the sky, as for our helicopter, the guy with the beige and black or black and tan jacket, he was guiding the group. And when they saw us, they were running back into Mexico, and he was telling them to hurry up, you know. So,
just to put it in perspective, we got 4 with the Coyote over here. Look up the hill here. We've got two right here with our units right here. And as soon as they cross back over, they're safe. Now they're safe. This basically like Red Rover. They came over, we caught 1. Now they move back to the Mexico side and are waiting for their opportunity again. So this is what these guys deal with. You know, this is after a slow time where we've got, you know, the Border Patrol resources all out here, where the last 4 years they were basically being Ubers for the cartel from the last administration, inviting illegals into our country. So a lot of these areas were unmanned. And so these groups that are getting pushed back now would just come over freely. And we have tens of thousands that are in our country now that now ICE is having to go apprehend and get back out. And we got these guys right here.
These 2 illegals, standing just feet away from the southern border, claim to be Mexican military. Surprise, surprise.
You?
They're lying.
You Army?
I have no idea who they are, but they're obviously not Guatemalan national troops on active duty patrolling the border right now. And we have the other one over the hill right there I'm watching.
Is it odd that they would come stand this close to you?
No,
This is normal?
we have this all the time. You notice when they started coming closer to us, we put on our body armor for force protection reasons.
Active shooting from the Mexico side recently?
Yeah, since April last year, we've had 4 incidents here in El Paso.
So it's a real threat.
Yeah, it always is.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a bogus story from the beginning. But
Yeah, cartels are known to lie and make up stories.
what? They're not just honest, truthful.
Yeah, they're not honest criminals.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a good shot of both their faces.
As we continue our investigation, we meet Border Patrol Agent Ebert, a legal immigrant who became a United States citizen and is now working to protect our southern borders.
From your perspective as a legal immigrant who came here from Cameroon, now to be working for Border Patrol.
Yeah, I was just lucky I had the opportunity to be able to come here to get a good life and help out my family. When I'm doing the job, I'm just doing the job.
Yeah.
I don't think of where I'm from, you know.
Do you appreciate being in America?
Yes, of course, yeah. It changed my life, yeah.
God bless you, sir.
Thanks.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you very much.
Your brother?
Later on that same day, Ben and Anthony Aguero were making their way over the mountains, where they spooked another group of illegals who were trying to blend in as average, everyday hikers.
We got a group of 3 illegals coming down here. They were trying to blend in, walking down the trail. Looks like we got 2 more females walking up the trail.
Something seemed off, so they tracked the group and reported these alleged hikers to their good friends at the Border Patrol.
I just sent the coordinates to our Border Patrol contacts. So you can see them going up the hill right there as we speak.
Ben makes his move across the canyon to try to keep eyes on these guys until the Border Patrol can arrive. And minutes later, one of the elite teams of Border Patrol, known as BORSTAR, arrives on the scene.
On the main trail, dropping that way.
And as Ben gives a description of the suspects, and the Border Patrol begins to look around the mountain, one of the guys who had been hunkered down, trying to hide in the rocks, jumps up and makes a run for it. And the chase is on.
Yeah. He's cutting across. Yeah, it's in the wash. And there's another in all black up and over. There he is. Hold on, stay down. Lay down. We'll start moving soon. If he goes left, it's perfect. We're gonna follow his trail once we get down. He's not that far. As soon as he cuts around. As if he saw us and he would have jumped that mountain. Yeah. Right when we did his other guy, I think the guide is up on top. I think I see him right there.
As the illegal makes his way around the corner and out of view, we make our move to cut him off before he can get back into Mexico. This is BORSTAR team leader, Agent Sulik, a.k.a. American Hero.
Top of the hill.
BORSTAR is dedicated to search, trauma, and rescue operations, particularly in remote and hazardous locations along our border. Ben and Agent Sulik decide to split up to try to cut him off. Sulik goes topside as Ben follows the wash, and moments later, Agent Sulik catches up with the bad guy. Rough translation, don't be an idiot. As Agent Sulik deals with this bad hombre, Ben heads up the mountain to link up with 2 other BORSTAR team members who are in hot pursuit of another illegal immigrant.
Where's he from? He coming up to pick these guys up?
This guy claims to be a U.S. citizen just out for a random stroll. It's suspected that he was the pickup person for the illegals and was planning on smuggling them back into the city. But without additional evidence, he was later released.
Were you coming to pick up?
Let's just hope we don't run into him.
Were you coming to pick up illegals? ¿Cómo se dice en español?
Other guys with them?
Yeah, one of the guys, he says he's a USC, but the other guy all in black is still up on this range.
Okay.
He ran, this guy says he's a U.S. citizen, but ran when they came after him, so.
So you don't say.
Yeah. I think he was coming up to pick him up, honestly.
Dude, so he saw.
Yeah, he stopped.
So my guys
I saw them go up
are
ahead.
The same ones?
Yeah.
Those are my same guys?
Yeah, they cut off and came up here and got this
Okay.
guy.
So he saw them.
Yeah, he stopped,
Down.
and then you came right up on him. I got you on that. Well, I was planning on coming back to do an op with these guys. Turns out we got to do a little bit of one today. Got two.
That's how we take our country back.
Baby.
Enough is enough.
One at a time. There it is. America. We got another group of 10 right up here on the mountain, waiting for their chance to go. The cartel's getting really frustrated because the operations military and Border Patrol are doing. They're getting desperate. You can feel it. You can feel the anxiety building. These guys are getting frustrated. They want to make their money, and they're getting stopped right now. But they're coming. They're going to keep coming. That's why we need Border Patrol on the line to do the job. That's why traitors like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all the Democrat NGOs that invited this invasion need to be prosecuted for treason.
Coming up, Ben does a ride along with our U.S. Border Patrol as illegals race to get back into Mexico. They now know that President Trump isn't playing any games.
Nice.
And our border is 100% closed for any of that Biden cartel business. So y'all better just get on back. You can run, but you cannot hide.
Bleeding didn't stop for 4 years. Now it's plugged.
And be sure to stick around after the show for a special musical tribute by our very own patriotic entertainer, Dave Bray, USA. Welcome back to Law and Border. Back with our Border Patrol guides, another group of illegals makes a run for the border.
They're throwing rocks.
Ben is in hot pursuit, and as soon as the illegal crosses the line back into Mexico, the scumbag turns around and starts throwing rocks.
We got him throwing rocks.
And these are the people that the Democrats want to live in your neighborhoods. Thankfully, not all of the illegals are so lucky, as BORSTAR takes down two
The
more.
other guy got it. Yeah. I missed him by about 20 feet.
Yeah. Good, David?
Off in the distance, Special BORSTAR Agent Sulik reemerges from the mountains.
That's how you take the country back!
Thank God for these patriots on the front lines, and for a president who lets them do their jobs once again.
Missed that scumbag by about 10 yards. And he started throwing rocks. But you got another group. So we got a group up here. Got a group on that hill range. This group here, another group here.
It's absolutely incredible to think that this is during a slow time. Imagine what it was like every single day when Joe Biden and the Democrats were letting in thousands, and these areas were wide open for the cartels to push through as many people as they wanted. And that's the difference between President Trump, who puts America first, and the Democrats, who are sympathetic to the schemes of the cartels and who have no problem putting America last.
We got another? Nice. They don't disown.
This guy openly admits that he was headed to New York to work illegally, hoping to join the millions of others just like him who were invited in under the previous administration. Well, not today, buddy. Not today. And we're back with Agent Sulik as he gives us a breakdown of the situation.
And he was laying in. So what they try and do is they try and hide themselves within the geography of this area as best as they can. Mr. Kirk, you know, I'm not in political views, I'm not, but I see you all the time, and man, that brain of yours, just the way you talk and the way you speak, the things you say, it's impressive. I wish I could talk like that. I mean, I'm born and raised to chase the bad guys and catch them, but you're born and raised to really tell people off and let them know what the true story is, and we all appreciate that. So one day if I could shake your hand, I'd love to, but for now, I'll keep trying to do what I'm doing for you and the rest of the country.
On behalf of Charlie Kirk and our entire Real America's Voice team, thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. You do what you do. We're all part of the body. You do what you do so we can do what we do.
Amen. And we'll keep fighting for you. We won't give up. Like I was telling your partner here, man, the one thing that these law enforcement officers have, agents have, is hope. And no matter who, what, or where is sitting in a seat, we'll never lose that hope, and that's what keeps us going, I think. That's what keeps me going, for sure.
One last thing, I know you talked to him. The last 4 years compared to the last month, what the operational change,
Yeah, man. So we're part of the search, trauma, and rescue team, right? So I'm gonna give you something that I want. The way I want to say it is that we're part of tactical medicine. So we're learned how to treat, you know, bleedings and all that. Anything that comes our way, we can handle it. The way you stop the bleeding is you plug it. And what I'm gonna get at is the bleeding didn't stop for 4 years. Now it's plugged. In certain areas, certain spots, and we've been able to regroup. A lot of agents have been able to take a breather, and we'll get back to the grind like we have right now. But when I tell you the bleeding is plugged, it's plugged for now.
It's plugged for now, but the cartels aren't going anywhere. Even with the leaders of several of them being taken out, they are simply regrouping. They aren't going to stop, which means neither can we. Thank God for every law enforcement agent, every Border Patrol agent, and everyone who puts on a uniform to protect our country and uphold the oath that they've sworn, both to our Constitution and to the citizens of the United States of America. As they shall remain ever vigilant, we the people shall remain ever so grateful for all that they do. And now, a special word from our host, Ben Bergquam.
Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Law and Border. It's an absolute honor to stand with the heroes on the front lines that are securing our country. God bless every Border Patrol agent. As anti-American forces work to undermine our rule of law and our border security, we here at Law and Border support Border Patrol. We support our law enforcement. We support the rule of law. We support America first. This week's tribute goes out to the men and women who put on the Border Patrol uniform. This is my brother, Dave Bray, USA, DaveBrayUSA.com, American veteran and patriot. When you watch this video, think about the men and women who don't get to go home because they shed their blood for this nation, for you. If you like this song, you can go to DaveBrayUSA.com, get this song and much more. Enjoy.
Today's very special for me because the Border Patrol is allowing me to speak and sing directly to the families. I ask that you take these words and my sentiment, my condolences along with you, your journey in life, and take this song with you. And I hope that it heals and brings faith for you to continue. This song is called Last Call. I hope you enjoy it.
time, so please hear me out. These are the last few words that I'd like to say to you all. This is my last call. Tell my wife I love her and that I won't be home tonight. Thank her for those long, hard years that we tried to get it right. And tell her I'll be waiting after she makes it through it all. This is my last call. But ask her to forgive me. Tell her I'm sorry. That I can't be the man that she's gonna be. Tell her I'll be waiting where the winter meets the fall. This is my last call. Tell my children that I love them. Oh yeah, the daddy always loved them so. Tell them to hold their mother tight and to never let her go. And tell them I'll always be watching, looking over them through it all. This is my last call. Tell him to fight for me. Do what's right for me. Choose the light for me. But don't ever forget me. Be watching and I'll be there when they fall. This is my last call. For those who serve beside me and who held that thin blue line, stand tall, stand strong, and hold your head up high. I'm sorry I let you down today. Please know I gave my all. This is my last call. So raise your glass for me. And kick some ass for me. Ring a bell for me. Send 'em straight to hell for me. I'd like to think I saved a few good lives, but I couldn't save them all. This is my last call. Yeah, I'd like to think I saved a few good lives, but I couldn't save my own. This is my last call.
If you love that one as much as we do me a favor, go to davebrayusa.com, support his music on a mission, buy his merch, download his music, share it with your friends. God bless America.
Next time on Law and Border, we'll head back out to the West Coast, starting in San Diego and making our way back into Mexico to see the Trump effect at multiple points along the way. From the cartel lookouts on top of the mountains to the National Guard securing the fence line. We'll link up with Tim Foley of Arizona Border Recon and John Shattuck as we track water droppers, aka the aiders and abettors of the cartels.
So these are the water droppers.
We'll see the garbage they leave behind and the garbage that's coming in.
These are all just people that have invaded America.
Even though the numbers have dropped, we get more evidence of why vigilance is key.
That's how hard it is to get in.
We're not only fighting the enemies coming from outside of our country, we're also fighting the enemies within.
Thanks for the Vienna sausages and the granola bar.
And we'll end back out in the El Paso sector at night with our Border Patrol agents. So tell your friends if you want to see the truth about our southern border.
I think they're just desperate to find different ways to come through.
Tune in to Law and Border, only on Real America's Voice.
No good luck. Bad luck to illegals.